beautiful, early August. Sun was starting to peek out over the horizon.
Todd DeGreen and two climbing buddies knew summiting Mount Rainier would be no walk in the park that August day.
I ended up taking about 7 hours to get to the summit. Quite arduous. It never lets up. It's uphill, steep the whole way.
But they had no idea of the challenges ahead.
About 4 hours coming down, there was this debris on the ice field. From afar, it was just a bunch of black spots that sort of stood out.
As they got closer, Todd and his team saw those spots were pieces of climbing gear. Then they heard a whistle.
You know, and I was looking, where's this whistling coming from? And it was coming from underneath the snow. It was weird. And
yeah, it was very faint. You could barely hear it.
It was coming from Hunter Ferguson, down inside a crevasse.
You know, it's funny. He initially asked us if this was a drill. And I think my response was, no, this is a real live accident. This is not a drill, people. So.
Hunter's climbing partner had fallen into the crevasse when a snow bridge he was crossing collapsed.
I arrested his fall, established an anchor, and went to check on his status to see if he was injured. He thankfully wasn't. He took a pretty good fall and was bruised. The edge of the crevasse lip actually broke away on me. So the situation went rapidly from bad to worse, and we were both, at that point, hanging in the crevasse. And luckily, the anchor system that I had built held. We didn't both tumble to the dark depths below.
They were stuck under the crevasse's ledge, unable to get out on their own.
Relatively uninjured. They'd been in there for about 4 hours. They were pretty cold, definitely fatigued, definitely scared.
Todd, Mike, and Conrad debated whether to hike down the mountain to base camp to get help.
But it's going to be minimum 6 hours more for these guys.
Todd worried there wasn't time.
So I'm thinking they can't spend the night in there. We don't have enough clothes for them. They're cold. They're going to go hypothermic, and I don't think they're going to make it. So I said, Mike, Conrad, I said, let's talk. I said, I know how to do this. We can do it. I have all the equipment.
he has all the pulleys. So that's a funny thing, because I gave him a little bit of a hard time. Yeah, you know, why are you carrying all this junk up the mountain? I mean, it's heavy. What is all these pulleys dangling? Well, you know, I tell you, now I'm never going up that mountain without these same pulleys.
Todd used that gear to build a complicated pulley system, something he was trained in and had practiced many times. Twice they tried to pull the men out, but the slushy edge of the crevasse wouldn't cooperate.
But all along, Todd was saying, it'll work, it'll work, it'll work.
The third time was the charm. Both men were hoisted to safety.
Well, he saved my partners and my life, our lives.
Everyone survived that day on the mountain because Todd DeGreen had the training, the gear, and the guts of a hero.
I've become quite a proponent of ongoing education as it relates to that kind of activity, because I don't think it's to be underestimated.
His cool-headedness, his caring about the well-being of perfect strangers, but also his competence and preparedness are the reasons that that day ended as well as it did.